Unhappy tenant is suing her former landlord for the return of her security deposit.
So that security deposit was $1,000.
Yeah.
You're asking for nearly $3,400.
Correct.
She claims she only lived in the apartment for 4 months before being evicted and says she faced harassment from management.
I was there for 4 months. I was harassed.
My understanding of what happened is you were there for a period of time. At some point, they decided that you would have to leave. And then let me finish, ma'am. And then they gave you notice, and then you eventually left. And then there's the issue of the deposit. I saw some records in there as to why they kept the deposit. And then now you're asking for, again, a judgment in the amount of nearly $3,400. What I need to know is, what did they do wrong? How is it that you're owed that money?
What really got me going, I was going to move out, give my deposit, and just forget this place. By July 7, after moving out, end of May, I have not received a notice of my deposit or received the deposit. I went to the department, to the timber apartment, and I said, I've never received anything on my deposit. And they said, here it is, it was returned. They only had half of the address that was required, so it was returned. It was incorrect. They couldn't deliver the letter.
So they sent it to you, but you didn't get it.
But it was returned, right.
Okay, all right.
So they did send it to me. And so on the 7th, when I picked up the papers, I left, I went into my car and I read, whoa, there is an attachment. It's called apartment condition move-in. That was falsified. I did not see that paper.
Was this the one when you moved out?
When I moved out on this July 7th is when I received, that was part of my paperwork that
And that what you're saying, at some point you said that was forged.
That is forged.
Okay.
I was there for 4 months. I was harassed. The maintenance man, I cannot prove it, but the maintenance man went out there, dumped stuff in the hallway. I got a letter from them saying I have to clean it up by this date. The maintenance man and the people went like this when they seen me getting upset. They managed it. So to me, that was a sign, hey, we did it, we got it. Okay. And they tried to run over me, the apartment from upstairs. She was in good friends with the people in the office. She was there for several years. And like I said, the very first day it started. And that's because I tied my dog onto a railing so I could get some items out of the trunk of my car. And it wasn't going to be long. And she comes running in and she starts yelling at me. And I said, I can't understand you. I'm hard of hearing. And then she just yelled some more and just walked up. But there were attempts. They're coming over to the garbage can where I was standing, trying to run me over. It was ongoing. It was a nightmare. It was so hard. And that's why I've said, okay, and then the managers, your dog's loose. Your dog's barking. You got cardboards in the window. You need to move them out. You can have cardboards in the window, even though other people had them. I've got a letter on that too. What else? Threats of evictions in writing, some of it, but never happened. Just harassment. And so I had a break-in attempt for my window. My window was pulled down, the window screen. I took a picture of that. And I think I sent it in, but it was a 4-month.
I will tell you, ma'am, I didn't see any pictures sent in by you.
It's okay. It's okay. It's just pretend you don't have it, but I have it here.
Okay, well, I don't. It's not something I can pretend. I actually don't have.
It's okay, sir. Let me see what I got. And one of the reasons I asked for that much money is because when I went there for an apartment, they quoted me different prices than what I was actually charged. They had temps working there And I was told 1,300, then I was told 1,400, and then they compromised eventually in between, and I did sign the freaking paper. And that's why I have part of that money in there. It's a difference of what I was originally quoted and what I eventually signed for. It was about it's $50 or $75 difference in rent. And for 4 months, I added that to this list. And the reason I requested moving fee is because even though I asked for it to move out, and after about 7 months, they said, yes, you can. This is when you can move out without penalty. Yes, they did do that for me. But because of the harassment, I've asked, and because they wanted me out, I feel strongly they wanted me out. Basically because of this lady up there and the one next door. And so I felt like I deserved the moving cost. That's what I did. So no.
Go ahead. We can hear from one of the folks from the Timbers.
Pardon?
I want to hear from at least one of the folks from the Timbers, and then I'll come back and let you.
Your Honor, so I'm the regional manager, and I'm quite familiar with Helga. The staff there at the property communicated with me quite often about what was happening. So Helga, a brief rundown because there's a lot of moving parts here. Helga signed her lease on January 29th of 2025. The lease term was through December 31st of 2025. She moved in and she was having her and her neighbors surrounding her were having consistent complaints. So not only did the neighbors have complaints with Helga, Helga had complaints with the neighbors. So they weren't eviction notices, they were 30-day comply notices to basically whatever we were trying to resolve the disputes between each neighbor and make all parties happy. Unfortunately, it just continued between the neighbors, the disputes, to the point that police were called between the two of them. And Helga continually
What was this all about,
emailed requests.
as far as you know?
There was a lot of about trash left in the hallways. There was disputes, complaints regarding her animal. Helga, I think at one point had followed the other resident to a laundry room and started yelling at her. It just became very unhealthy for all parties involved. And Helga continued to email requesting to break her lease. At that point, 4 months in, roughly, we went ahead and decided, I think it would be best if we allow her to break her lease. So we allowed her to do that. And we did not penalize her for breaking her lease at that point in time. As for the apartment condition checklist, so that is a form that the resident signs, and I'm not sure if Helga's not remembering that form, but that's a form that is signed along with the lease and the other addendums when a resident moves in. So it's not something that Helga would have signed upon her move out. That is a form that is signed that would have been signed back on January 29th. So I'm not sure where that was coming from. And then as far as the move out charges, when Helga moved in, the carpet was brand new. She was only there for roughly, again, 4 months, and we provided pictures from the dog of the pet damage from the urine. And so it did have to be replaced. And so that total with the invoice is attached to the documents. So that was where Helga ended up owing the $696. That was the balance.
And so that, if I understand, like the move in, and I have it in front of me right now, the signature was put on there on January 25th. And then below that, when it says resident credits, somebody wrote in $1,000 security deposit, and then it's like carpet, like 14 something, 86 cents, and then cleaning for 240. And then that left the two, and that was written after.
Yes, yeah, the bottom
Hold it for a second.
signature.
So do you understand that, ma'am? Hang on just a minute.
Yeah, I understood what she said.
So that signature wasn't, they're not saying that signature was put there when you moved out. And I got to tell, yeah, that's where I'm looking at the same thing. And I will tell you, I'm not a handwriting expert, but I did make a copy of it and I looked at other places where you'd sign stuff. And I got to be honest with you, ma'am, it looks an awful lot like your signature. I mean, it's either an excellent forgery, which I handed out, or it's actually your signature back in
Did
January.
you happen to see the contract signature or the ones below?
I looked at you have a number of signatures there, both on checks and other stuff, and I kind of matched them. Again, I'm not a
It's
handwriting
okay, I'm
expert.
not
Okay, so hang
I
on
know
just a
you're
second.
the judge,
So,
and that's
ma'am,
okay. But
yeah, and I didn't interrupt you and I didn't interrupt them and they didn't interrupt you either. So let me finish my thought, okay? So, yeah, I'm not a handwriting expert. And, but, when you're the plaintiff in a lawsuit, you bear a responsibility, a burden of proof, and you need to get some sort of testimony that's going to convince me that that's not your signature.
I'm about finished. I just wanted to say, to Helga that the $1,000 security deposit was used towards that balance, the move out balance, to replace that carpet. And we understand that she had shoulder surgery. And so, that security, that $1,000 went towards those move out balances. So that was used. It wasn't withheld. And so that's basically all I have to say, Judge.
Well, and then you told me that the carpet was new when she moved in.
Yes.
And then I thought I saw in there that tell me about the condition it was in when she moved out, and then I'll have her respond to it at the appropriate time.
Okay. So there was pictures provided of the pet damage when Helga had vacated and given keys. We went in and there was a strong odor of urine. And so the pictures of the pet damage, the urine stains, were provided, as well as the cleaning cost as well, with the receipts from the vendors.
And then now, last thing, tell me about sending her, as I'm sure you well know, there's time limits involved in getting these things to a tenant who moves out. Tell me about that.
Correct. Helga provided in an email the forwarding address that she wanted the apartment condition checklist mailed out to. Unfortunately, it was the incorrect address, and this was May 31st. Helga came in on June 7th to receive that returned envelope back to the office because we weren't provided with the correct forwarding address.
When did she move out?
May 31st.
Okay, so she got that within 30 days.
Correct.
Is what you're telling me. Okay, all right. So Ms. Yeah, I knew that. Thank you. Talk to me about the carpet. She's saying that there was pet urine on the carpet and it smelled. And
the carpet was absolutely, I swear to God, was not clean, was not new. They may have shampooed it, but when you shampoo a carpet.
So I'm going to stop you.
Okay.
I'm more interested in the condition it was in when you left rather than when you, because if.
Would you repeat that question?
I said, I want to know what condition the apartment was in when you left the apartment.
It was clean. The man that I tried to get to come in, but we broke up. He said, you cleaned it. If I walk in that house, I would be happy. So just that much. But the apartment, when I left, it was clean. I cleaned the fridge, I cleaned the cabinets, I cleaned the floor, I vacuumed the carpets. I cleaned everything except the stove top because that requires the knife that you clean the flat stove with, and I couldn't do it with my arm. So, but that one was dirty. Clean, wiped down, yes, but not clean, like I would like to have had. So, but other than that, it was good.
I said, here's where I'm at with regard to this case.
Okay.
I don't find that the long and the short of it is, this was a tenancy which apparently didn't go well from the start. It was your desire to leave, and I think that kind of seems that was kind of mutual after a while. And then you left, and I don't have any itemization for anything. So really, what it gets down to is whether or not you get your damage deposit back. And it looks like you got a appropriate notice. I'm looking at a picture which appears to me to be urine damage on a carpet, and that was, with the screen being torn down, they're not deducting for that, so that's not an issue.
Okay.
What the issue that I'm interested in is the condition of the carpet, and there was a cleaning fee, which is that cleaning fee, is that a non-refundable thing that's done on taken from every deposit?
That was just the cleaning vendor charge.
Got it. Okay. So there's
Yes.
a cleaning thing, and you yourself said it wasn't clean, and then there was the condition of the apartment of the carpet. So that's kind of the picture. I don't need to see the vent screen. That's not an issue.
Okay.
So, but go ahead. What do you want? I'll let you finish.
Well, I can see, other people can see that this is a forgery, and I don't.
Well, I can't. And I
I'm
mean, I just
sorry.
can't.
It's okay. So I'm okay. You're the boss.
Well,
It's okay.
I'm ready to rule on this case, ma'am. And this
Okay.
is what I'm going to do. So, well, first of all, where are you living now? Did you land at a good place, or where?
I love it. I really love it.
All right.
It's so nice.
Well, that's good.
It's 1,100 square.
I don't need to know. I just need to know whether or not it's a good place or not. But, in the, you're the plaintiff. Anytime a plaintiff, the plaintiff in the lawsuit has some certain responsibilities, and that, they carry burden. In criminal cases, they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the person did what they're saying, what you're doing. This is not a criminal case. This is a small claim civil case, but there's still standards and burdens of proof. And, you have to show beyond a reasonable doubt, or not by a preponderance of the evidence, is it more likely than not that the withholding of the deposit was unreasonable, they didn't have a reason to do that, or was done in bad faith, or anything like that. And ma'am, I just can't find that in this case. And so I'm happy that you're at a good place. I hope that continues to go well for you. But in this case, I'm going to fine for the defense, and I'm not going to award a judgment in this case. All right.
Okay.
And you're free to leave.